Okay. Hello everyone to the Developer Diaries episode 4, and today we have Vedant here with us, and he's a dev founder at NeoVantium, co-founder at DevScript, intern at Tesselate Imaging, beta Microsoft student ambassador DSC RCOEM core, AI mentor at Tesseract coding, and FOSS enthusiast. So how are you doing, Vedant?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. So, can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, so hello everyone. This is Vedant here. I'm currently a final year student at RCOEM Nagpur, Maharashtra, India, and I am a Python explorer. I love Python. I love AI, ML, and all. But uh, I love to discover other fields as well. Just uh, thanks for Seema for such a great introduction, for such kind words and all. So sharing knowledge is the best thing that I believe in. So that's what's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really great to have you because many students have doubts in machine learning because they think that it is a great field to explore, but they are really afraid to do that because as freshers, maybe there are not many jobs for freshers. So I think this session will help them a lot. And I have a few questions, so I'll just start asking you. So first
Sure.
is ML really the future of engineers?
Okay, so the answer to this is very interesting because when we say future, there are two aspects. One is the near future and the another is far future. So like as per like
Yeah.
I told you that I went to final year, went through quite a many placement rounds and all. I observed one thing that in recent future there isn't that scope because that development isn't done, that culture into AI ML hasn't that grown in our country. But there are many students who are working in this domain. So
Mm.
so it's like recently, slowly, even colleges are having branch that are specifically for AIML. Like for example, here my juniors will soon be having AIML as a branch. So once
Yeah.
this culture gets increased soon, so there AIML will be the future, but that will be after
Mm.
quite some time. And
Yeah.
definitely AIML should be a path that one should opt for, at least for the beginners who are, let's say, in first years or second years of the engineering. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. It takes time to adapt new changes in our universities or colleges. So yeah. Second question is if anyone wants to go for machine learning, what should they learn first? Like, should they learn Python fundamentals or something?
Okay, so when we say machine learning or data science or say artificial intelligence, there are various aspects. So it's like AIML is not just algorithms, AIML is not just the implementation part. Or say if we say data science, we also did database and all that to include it as well. So what
Yeah.
needs to be learned is that first you need to learn a programming language. First of all, you need to have definitely some knowledge of data types and all, which you did learn by learning C, C++, Java, something. Then you need to learn Python or R, some languages that are specifically known for their good support for AIML. For example, Python has got a lot many libraries, TensorFlow, Keras,
Yeah.
scikit-learn, and all. So then you need to learn Python, and then you can go for just going on implementing things. So now there are two options for this. Either you go for some doing projects on your own, say for freelancing or having some startup. So not necessarily you might need the whole mathematical algorithms and all, but if you are going for a job, then they definitely do ask algorithms that in depth that what if, and the questions has like, if I'm given some scenario and what algorithm should I use, which one is better as compared to another, these are the things that needs to be taken into consideration normally.
Okay, so I got a question that is ML really tough as it seems to be for many students? Like for me, it is tough for me to learn that because there are lots of algorithms that we have to use or yeah.
Yeah, so it's like Like I recently had a conversation with one of my friends on regarding the same. So she was like, it has got mathematics and all, and I really don't like mathematics. So yeah, it is tough. It has got algorithms, a lot many things. But if you go and try to understand the concept, that how things
Hmm.
actually work, and so it's go pretty simple. And it's like even if till 10th or 11th, 12th, if you had interest in mathematics, AIML is something that won't be much difficult for you, is what I think.
Yeah, the concepts are really good because I loved mathematics. So the mathematics part is really easy for me, but to implement that, it seems tough.
Yeah, so it's like when we say Python, we got a lot many libraries that are already there. When you say naive
Yeah,
classifier, it is one of the algorithms. It is already there. You just need to put the data, train it, and that's it. It's hardly around 10
yeah,
lines of code to implement machine learning. The
okay,
mathematics is the challenge.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
any resources to learn machine learning?
Yeah, so it's like what are the resources? Either you can go on YouTube videos, you can learn from going some classes and all. But like even like I have prepared and heard a lot that they say the Coursera of the Coursera series by Andrew Ng is one of the best. Andrew Ng is the lead of the Brain
Yeah,
AI, not Google Brain AI. So that is one of the best. That's what I've heard. So apart from
yeah.
this, like there is I have a repository on GitHub which has got especially data science and AI/ML related notes and PDFs. So this is something you can definitely go for.
Okay, let me share in the chat.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Um, what are the projects you made? How did you get the ideas?
Yeah, so ideas are available around you. So like
Yeah.
recently there was like we all experienced lockdown, right? So I'm a
Hmm.
guy who watches a lot many movies and web series and all. So what I took is
Yeah.
I took a data set of 9,000 movies, made a
Hmm.
movie recommender system using multiple algorithms, tried to merge their outputs in order to have a more efficient output.
Hmm.
So and I use it normally to to find a good movie which I can watch for, because now recently there aren't any movies that are released except that I just
Yeah.
there's a nice one coming out December 25th. But for these ideas are around you. You just need to observe things.
Yeah. Uh, is math necessary to get into ML?
To get into ML for a job, yes, because the interviewers definitely ask that, because what happens in that situation that uh, sometimes you need to hyper tune the okay, so hyperparameters are the parameters that you change in order to find the an efficient algorithm, or say an efficient model.
Hmm.
So similarly, you need to tune this as per your requirement, and to understand that what parameter does what, why does it do that, you need to understand the
Hmm.
algorithm. But for
Okay.
just say you have to implement it for a startup, or say even you one of your hackathon projects, you just need to do what? Just code it, few lines of code, and that's it. The job's done. That's all they want, isn't it? For that hackathons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, okay. So we have a question from Rohit. That is, Bhaiya, I am learning ML and deep learning. Any suggestions?
Uh, Consistency is a thing that you will need while learning AIML. You can
Hmm.
learn AIML in around a couple of months as well. Not obviously with an expertise, but okay. So one more thing, that if you learn AIML, it is better to always know either of one thing, Android or full stack. So suppose if I'm creating some project, say just
Hmm.
take example of movie recommender system only, and yeah, I have the code, I run it on my system, but how will you show that code to someone else? Or you need to bring it as a project where others can use. You need some platform. You need some front end, right? You'll need either a web app or something, say Android app. So a small you should know basics of other domain as well, so that you can implement this for helping others. Yeah.
Okay, so in your bio, you have mentioned the DevScript founder. So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so DevScript is a community that was found by some of us who are from, say, Microsoft community and another communities we were in. We are the people who came together in order to have sessions where we can, with the motto that we let us come together to learn and grow. We take sessions like
Hmm.
we had a Python series before. Now we had ML sessions as well. We take it on full stack development and all. Yeah, and we also organize a lot many events. For example, like recently, uh, okay. So before that, I'd like to add up a question and an answer by myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So where to learn? So it's like you are learning ML. I learned ML. Okay. So I did quite a lot many projects around. At least I assume I just around there are 5 to 6 minimum projects on my profile. But what sense
Okay.
does it make if they are just on the profile? You should do it like either you do it for some hackathon, either you
Yeah.
made a research paper out of it, or you do some open source contribution. So, not just project, something additional, some delta is there along with the same. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so in case if you go for open source contribution, so we are having an event at DevScript, which is DevScript Winter of Code. It is a 2 month open source hackathon where there are not only repositories for AIML but for multiple domains as well. It is quite similar to Hacktoberfest, and we really want the culture of open source to be grown in India, as it is not just adding something in your resume. It is something
Hmm.
that you are helping the world. Your knowledge is
Yeah.
used in order to development, and this is not just AIML. So if you say the phone you are using, say if it's Android, it is based on Linux, which is an open source platform. Everything you
Yeah.
use is sort of open source normally.
Hmm.
So do contribute to DevScript Winter of Code. You can reach out to its website. I'll share it in the chat.
Yeah. So those of you who have missed by chance Hacktoberfest, so this is a great way to start your open source journey.
Yeah, and also it's like many of you might be interested into uh, Google Summer of Code, MLH fellowships, and all. So
Yeah.
we'll be having special guidance sessions by MLH mentors and GSOC mentors, MLH fellows, and even recruiters by various multiple communities like Microsoft and all. So that what skills they required, how you need to prepare yourself for GSOC, and believe me, GSOT is an amazing experience one should always attempt for.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. So any myths about ML you heard before learning ML?
Okay, so many people think that AI, ML are all the similar terms, but AI is a very vast domain. Machine learning is
Yeah.
just a small part of it. And even deep
Yes.
learning, where you have neural networks and all, it is a small part of machine learning again.
Hmm.
So AIML is not necessarily the answer for everything, but it is an answer for a lot many things. Okay, so there are many people who think that many jobs are lost because of AI. Yeah, indeed it is true. Automation and all, they have
Yeah.
definitely reduced a lot number of jobs, and rather has brought luxury to a lot many people. If you say, just
Hmm.
imagine, you got Alexa at your home, you got Google Home. You need to just answer. So earlier you used to type and all. Now you just need to speak it up. So this is, at the background there is AIML almost everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. So Any mistakes that you did while learning ML and that you want to share to students that maybe they can improve that if they are doing so?
Yeah, so it's like algorithms are important. At first, I was like, let's just implement it. At least the work is done. The hackathon is one and all. Let's not
Yeah,
don't go that way. Once if you take this path, it becomes quite difficult to learn the algorithms to understand the concepts.
yeah,
Taking a step back in order to having this is difficult, and uh, don't go for a lot many projects. I'm doing this. Yes, this thing is implemented. Another thing is implemented. No, make something which is new first of all, which isn't much
mm,
implemented, or which you can improve from the existing system. You make just some software, and what it does is it is very inaccurate, but it sort of does the job. That thing doesn't work. Do something for the betterment of the society. That should
yeah,
be your only motive.
yeah. That really helps society, and we face a lot of difficulties like. Maybe some things I am facing that can be a project and that can help many people too. So yeah, that's really good for the society.
Exactly. Even if you say like take any startup, you think everything has come up with some problem. Whether you
Yeah,
say it's something like Zomato and all, you need some food services ready at your door. You
yeah,
earlier even I used to go and buy, and that was a job that I was, and I'm a lazy person quite enough to
mm,
go. Sometimes I used to cancel out things, but now
yeah,
these things are pretty much easy. So
yes.
yeah,
Also, many cooperative people don't get the time to make food, so that really helped many of us.
indeed, time is money,
Yeah,
so time is saved.
yeah,
Alas.
yeah. So, can you pursue machine learning as a career?
Yes, indeed, there are jobs out there where you can go for. Even like there are companies like Microsoft, IBM, who have their job
Mm,
openings at moment. But in India, at moment the scope is very less. Like at
yeah,
least okay, so there are some people who are in tier one colleges. Okay, let's just speak of reality that is out here in India. Many of us,
okay.
maybe many from the audience, might be from tier three college. I myself from a tier three college. So
Same here.
so companies don't come normally for AIML jobs. They're normally
Yeah,
the traffic or say the people they intake is normally from IITs and all. I'm not
yeah,
demotivating you, but this is the present reality. If you are in first year or second year, maybe the reality might be different for you.
yeah.
But for those who are in final year, companies don't come in tier three college for AIML. Believe me, like of all the interviews that I gave during my placement rounds, hardly some of them asked me about AIML. Even though I mentioned yes, this is the domain I work in, but no, no one asked me any questions, not a single. They just go for competitive programming and all. That's what is important when you are going for a job.
Yeah, that's the harsh reality. And I guess they don't prefer fresher as in the domain of machine learning, I guess.
Indeed, because like they have options who have been into AIML for quite some years. Suppose say I am into
Yeah,
AIML, I don't get a good job. I work for a couple of years, maybe at a small company, and try to uh, just use some of my skills. But later on, I get an experience, and there are a lot many people who are out there with an experience more than you. So any
hmm,
company will offer them than a fresher, right? Because they have
yeah,
an experience of, it's not a company work and all. It's about how products are made and not projects are made. We freshers, we know how to make projects. They know how to make
yeah.
products. There's quite a big
Hmm.
difference in this.
Yeah, experience makes a lot of difference. And I think the startup companies in India prefer fresher in ML or deep learning or this kind of domain.
Sorry, I didn't get you. Will you please repeat?
I think that startup companies really prefer fresher in this domain. Is it
Yeah,
true?
normally they do. Yes, because startups they have got recent fundings and all, and they aren't like well established companies, so
Yeah,
they have to optimally use the resources that they have got, optimally use the funds they
yeah.
have got. So they can go for freshers, that is possible, and I guess it is better to try for those who might have that enough knowledge, can
Hmm.
satisfy our work, and won't ask for high and won't have high requirements like senior developers into this domain.
Yeah. Okay, so Tarun has a question. I am a fresher wanting to become a data scientist. What should be my approach?
Okay, so you are a fresher, so you have got quite a time in your hand. So first, okay, so question comes that what is the thing that motivates you? Is it that you saw some Tesla cars going, having some automation, automated driving cars and all? If this is the thing, so AIML is quite different from this. Though it is AIML, but there are a lot many things that are implemented using AIML. There are some
Yeah.
interesting things, even than automated car. Just imagine if you uh, integrate the two domains, say cybersecurity and AIML. Suppose your code builds malwares by itself. That is the future. Apart from this, there are some projects where you are doing sentiment analysis, though it is not a small job, but it is something that is a beginner project for all. So you want to become data scientist, you have at the time, definitely go for it. Go through research papers and all, what people have done, what difference, or say what change they have brought in the society, what difference they have brought in the application to make it better. And you have to take that a step further, learn from some courses and all, read some documentations by TensorFlow, etc., understand the
Yeah.
concepts, do some projects, preferably for hackathons, research papers, maybe freelancing projects as well, and some open source contribution. And once you get enough confidence where you can say you are a data scientist, that is fine. And data scientist is basically two things: AIML plus database and all, because that is also important for data scientists. So
Yeah.
do study that as well.
Okay, so talking about TensorFlow, many people think that how can we contribute to the TensorFlow repository on GitHub? So, do you have any suggestions for them?
Yeah, okay. So it's like connect to some TensorFlow user groups that are there, and these people will, they have some contacts. You just
Yeah.
understand how things work into TensorFlow as in how the
Hmm.
library works and all. If you
Hmm.
can make a change enough good, you can definitely contribute to it. And
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay. So, Daniel has a question. Is it important to do master's or PhD to be a data scientist?
okay. So data scientist as a job, it is in today's world. If you say like, if I'm into final year and I need a job of data scientist at a good place. Yes, you'll have to do masters and PhD. For example, one of my friends, he like actually is one of my seniors. So he's now at Microsoft. He did his masters in US and has got a decent package. So yeah, to call yourself data scientist, you don't need a job or some degree. If you have the knowledge, you are a data scientist. But if you need
Hmm.
data scientist as a job, you need it. Yeah. But after some years, that won't be necessary because the culture will be well enough grown that even as a fresher, you will be appreciated as a data scientist in our country, in India.
Yeah. Okay. Um, have you been to any interview for machine learning and how was your experience and anything you want to share with that interview
Yeah.
experience that can help people?
Yeah. So it wasn't of a job or some interview, it was a mock interview. But the person who
Okay.
took the interview was ICPC World Champion of 2004. He is
Okay.
Sergey Orshansky. He's one of my Russian friends, and
Mm.
he is a data scientist with a very awesome experience. So the interview was very interesting. Interview was like, like some normal interview at the beginning, you need to introduce and all.
Mm.
But the type of situations they provide to you that are very interesting. Suppose, and they think it on a global scale. So I don't remember the exact question, but it was something like you have to release a product and you need to analyze where things are grown, what parameters are something
Mm.
which affect this. So this is how things are asked in an interview. And again, as I said, that I'm from a tier three college. Mostly companies don't ask these questions, but I've had conversations with very very good people, like CTOs of some companies, say HackerRank and all.
Mm.
So they demand knowledge. They don't, I'd say bookish knowledge or just the coding thing. The concepts are the things that are really important for such
Yeah.
positions.
Okay. So, where ML is used, like the scope of ML, basically.
Okay. Okay. So ML. We all use Amazon and many platforms, right? You get that people who bought this also bought this. This is
Mm.
nothing but ML. So you can observe things, the AI applications very easily. Even say you get some customized advertisements. This is AIML. Even you have Alexa at your home, that is AIML.
Mm.
Even automated cars like Tesla and all these are working on AIML. Chatbots, and AIML is not which you quite easily observe because that is something that is done at back end. The analytics part of country, even say stock market prediction, that is a very common project that people go for. That
Yeah.
is something that if you can very good determine stock market prediction, if you implement it on a larger scale, not only on stocks, it is quite similar to predicting the future. That is AIML.
Okay, so funny question. When we talk about I need to buy something and the Instagram is filled with those ads, so is it ML?
Sort of, yes, because okay, so you are searching something in your browser.
Yeah.
They use your data. They know what you are
Yeah.
searching. Even say if you just
Yes.
okay, so like I guess many of you might have got the FUBAR challenge recently. How do they know that
Yeah.
you are capable enough? They
Mm.
track your history, what you have searched, what are the terminologies. You search for Java, Python, and all some concepts of. So they use this data in order to determine what sort of person you are, what are your
Mm.
requirements, and these words they. So it's okay. So how does Amazon's recommendation engine works? In a layman's language, it's something like suppose Seema bought some products, say A, B, and C, and I brought say
Yeah.
A and B. So I have
Mm.
a very high probability that I might be interested in C as well. Now
Yeah.
these are some concepts that are pretty simple to understand, and
Mm.
they are available everywhere you want.
Yeah.
Even say just imagine that uh, there are some multiple genres, action, thriller, and all. Netflix is suppose analyzing uh, in what country do I have more traffic for some particular genre? So this is nothing but AML. How will they determine? Is it just the numbers? No, it is not just the numbers. The way
Mm.
people respond to certain things, the minute parameters that are taken into consideration. The minute parameters are even which actors have worked in that movie. These also affect a lot. And these small things
Mm.
which we cannot understand manually, this is where AIML comes into action.
Mm. It seems a lot of work to do. Yeah, in the
Yeah, so
company.
AIML is pretty much like, okay, so what are the challenges in AIML? Is it the programming part? No. Programming is pretty easy, but
Yeah.
having a good data set, the processing of it in order to you remove the irrelevant features and take into
Hmm.
consideration only the things that will be mattering in your project. So this is the challenge in AIML and not the programming.
Yeah. I think a lot of people have seen the documentary called the I forgot the name. It was on Netflix, like social media impact, like something. I can't remember that, but I guess they have used the ML and some things to analyze us.
Yeah, even like the OV recommender system that I had built. So the data set that I had, it had not only actors but co-actors and all that were taken into consideration.
Hmm.
So this affect you just normally we cannot observe these things, but these do affect. And even if you say check out, like many of us use Spotify, I get
Yeah.
recommendations almost every week or something. How do they
Yeah.
know? This is nothing but on what you have used, of what you have
Hmm.
listened to, and they suggest you some better ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's the reason for many people to get into ML. It's really, you know, interesting.
interesting. Yes.
Yeah. We get to explore a lot of things in ML. We get to learn a lot of things. So yeah, it's all
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
exploring.
So would love to share one incident with CEO of a company. I don't remember the
Yeah, sure.
company's name exactly. I guess it was PyTech something. Yeah. So he stated that uh, programmers or developers are using AIML where we manually cannot program it by ourselves. It is the deep learning
Hmm.
that learns by itself. Just upon it's something like there was a meme or something that came that यहाँ से आलू डालो वहां से सोना निकलेगा. So deep learning neural network is something like यहाँ से data set डालो वहां से model निकलेगा and it will predict it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me. Oh, okay. I remember the documentary that was Social Dilemma. Yeah. So that was really interesting and scary at the same time. Many people, like for a day or two, reduce the amount of using the social media, but after that, all were same. We are just addicted to social media, so we can't do anything.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Daniel has a question. I'm planning for my final year project in deep learning, but that requires few things which I don't know how to use. So is it okay to go for such project as FYP
Final year,
in which I need
yeah.
what's that? FYP, I don't know.
Final year
In
project.
which I need okay. In which I need to learn a lot.
Yeah, okay. So it depends on what your motive is. If you are doing it for submitting your final year project, then you can go for
Yeah.
something else. But if you think that learning is something that is important, then keep some timeline that needs to be by which you need to do things, and I guess that can be done. Deep learning isn't that
Yeah.
difficult, but making an efficient neural network and hence the model is something which is a bit challenging. And okay, so if you are planning like not only just doing this for final year project, if you need to develop it further, so I guess it is worth giving a shot.
Yeah,
You might,
absolutely.
you don't know, you might make something big out of it later on after your final year.
Hmm. Yeah. So, is there any jobs for freshers? I think we discussed that.
Yeah.
Okay, so any advice for the students?
Okay, so AIML is the future. Programming is important, but the concepts are important again. Don't just learn AIML, learn other domains as well.
Yeah.
mainly web dev or Android. And I don't expect you to be more like the whole IT department, but
Yeah.
you should know some things in order to be a complete developer, which you might call. And AIML is not necessarily about just doing it on your system something. There is
Mm.
a lot infinite possibilities. So many of you might be interested into quantum computing and all. So there is a
Mm.
quantum machine learning. How
Mm.
instead of going for binary 0 and 1, you just go for their own unit qubit and implement AIML. So like there was
Mm.
some recent news that some calculations which were supposed to take thousands or I guess million years by a supercomputer, but that was done in some matter of time by a quantum computer. So
Yeah.
apply using machine learning. Okay, so like there are some people who might be knowing machine learning already. So this is a further next step that you can take in here.
Mm.
Yeah. So yes, and go for open source. That is something really awesome. One should go for.
Okay. Any life lessons in your, like, you want to share with us?
Okay, so there is one thing, and I'm not sure it is quite much relevant to AIML or not, but what I do believe
Yeah,
is,
that's
or
okay.
and what I have experienced is that there was a quote by Jack Ma that uh, okay, so I'll just convey what it says. It says that the CGPA and the marks, they don't matter much unless
Mm.
and until you are learning something by your own, by something new, which is actually required in the society. If you say
Mm.
consider the system of education system of India, the CGPA doesn't matter. Companies come, they just
Mm.
ask whether do we have a minimum threshold of say 6.5, 7.5 CGPA. That's it.
Yeah.
And at the end, you are on your own. You need to do competitive programming, some projects, and all this is what at the end matters. So instead of
Mm.
if there are some people who are focusing on college marks, indeed they are important, but they're not enough important that you put the other thing at stake. Keep this to a decent level so that you
Mm.
can even at least tell others that yes, I have this CGPA, and then focus. Then you will have ample time to focus on those things which are on your own development.
I think CGA is there because just to filter out students, because there are many students in engineering, just to filter some out, I guess. That's what I
Yeah.
felt when I was in my, like, when I was having my placements. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
One more thing that I wish to add is that
Yeah.
uh, AIML. This all sounds really great. Futuristic automatic vehicles.
Yeah.
Even chatbot is something that was not expected quite a long time ago. But AIML can be harmful as well. So like it was some years ago that two bots of Facebook, they developed their own language and were having conversations between them, right? So there is a risk, but we just need to make sure that human stays at the top and AI, artificial intelligence, does not take on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Meet. Uh, Thank you, Bhavishya. And Meet has a question: best books for machine learning.
Okay, so not only machine learning, if I say of some particular domain, there isn't something like a best book or best resource. It's more like what is the resource by which you resonate more. That's what matters. When you go for books, instead of going for books, go for build a tendency to go for documentations. Official
Yeah.
documentations, they explain much better. Because at the
Yeah.
end, when you go working for some industry, you need to be dynamic. Not necessarily you'll have
Yes.
to work in a particular domain. You need to change your tech stack. in matter of some days. Say today I'm working on Python, tomorrow I might work on Scala, day after tomorrow I might work on Julia, right?
Yeah.
So understanding documentations is a thing that you should always go for. Initial stage you might go for books, but at the end you'll have to go for docs. That's it.
Yeah, I have been following documentation for like 3 years now, and it's really easy because we have Google and we can just search it out. And I think reading books for me is really tough, but I
Yeah,
can read documentation.
yeah. And it's like the documentation is prepared by those people who have sort of actually created that. So the
Yes,
TensorFlow
yes,
creators who are actual contributors to TensorFlow, these are the people. So they know the
yes.
concepts at the depth that no one else knows. So they will be able to express it in the easiest manner than anyone else.
I completely agree. I always tell people to do the same. But many do prefer videos because as a beginner, it's
Yeah.
maybe tough for you to go through the documentation because it's very long.
Yes.
But after some time, yeah, documentation is the only thing you want to read.
Yeah. And even if you say, even if I won't have suggested and you would have tried it on your own, eventually you'll yourself have you yourself have understood the same thing, that documentation is a thing that you must go for.
Yeah.
Becomes natural. Yeah.
Okay. Deepak has a question. Does Sophia uses ML?
So I assume that Sophia is a bot by some yeah, so it was there some bot, yes. So yes,
Yeah.
if you say any bot is there, it has AI/ML.
Hmm. Okay, Jivanshi. Thank you. Any other questions you have? Okay, let me ask you one. What difference have you seen where you were a beginner when you were a beginner and now that you have more knowledge in this field?
Okay, so as a beginner, what I used to go for that, I used to check for some algorithms. Yes. This
Hmm.
problem definition, I'll check, yeah. I'll just put Google it that if I have similar situation, what algorithm should I opt for? But after at least some experience, I can say that I did not Google it. I'm given the situation. I can just quote out some that what are the pros for this particular situation if I go for this algorithm, and which one will be better going for another algorithm. So understanding the algorithm to be implemented with respect to a particular situation is what that you call experience in this domain, in the domain of AIML.
Hmm. Okay, so a question that I guess I faced that just directly building projects really helps, or first we have to learn and then start doing projects.
Okay, so what I believe is it is best to learn by going for practical implementations, because when you actually made some project, you understand what problems you had faced. You say what
Hmm.
situations were there, and accordingly you learn programming. And it's not possible to learn the whole AIML by someone pretty easily. That takes quite a lot many years, and still you might not be knowing the whole of ML. So it is better to go by application based. At least you get
Yeah.
a project with you done by yourself. You have
Hmm.
understood concepts by yourself, and when you go for some particular concept for some project, so what happens is that you understand the concept from head to toe. You might not be
Yeah.
knowing some 10 other concepts at a beginner level, but you know this concept. So where this is applied, you can
Hmm.
speak a lot in. You can even have say research paper that is really interesting.
Yeah. Um, I have made like I was really new to machine learning that time, and I made a few projects that were like everyone does that face recognition and speech recognition. So these are
Yeah.
really normal. And what I learned was. Before that, I didn't know ML, what is it or anything. But after going through the program, I learned a lot of libraries and I go through the documentation. So that really helped me to know about to the libraries that are using. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
guess that helped.
yes. Indeed, like there are some amazing projects that can be done. So, uh, I had done one project earlier that was lyrics generator. So it is something like if I put a lot many lyrics of say of songs by Eminem, and there
Hmm.
a new song is generated. This is the level one say. Then the next step which I haven't implemented, but it is possible say by some amazing people who are listening to us, right? So that was like I thought that won't it be great if Eminem sings this song? What if I can artificially make Eminem sing this song? The voice transfer of
Yeah,
Eminem on his lyrics.
yeah.
These are some amazing things that can be implemented. Yeah,
I never thought about that. So it's really interesting.
yeah.
Okay, so Deepak is asking, Discord server has some bots. Are they also do they also use ML?
Yes and no both. So it's like depends upon the operation that you are seeing. Like if you
Hmm.
might have built a Discord bot earlier, so it's something like you normally state what things are to be done. So uh, but let me think a minute on this because there are a lot many applications of Discord server bots.
Yeah.
There are some who just do some basic API sort of thing that you say YouTube API or something. Then there
Hmm.
are some. So yeah,
Roles
it's like
assigning.
wherever. Okay, so natural language is something that is the text that is okay. So these are the words that are used by humans. Any operation on this at the back end there is AIML. So indirectly, if your bot is responding to some of your message which isn't of
Hmm.
some generalized format and it is responding you correctly, then at the back end there is AIML.
Um, I guess Discord server uses kind of automation. Like if you do this thing, then this will happen. Like it's
Yeah.
just automated.
Yeah, it's something like, the question and the answers are sort of already predefined that if this is the
Yeah.
input, do this operation. So, suppose there are some bots, you just need to put some dollar p and the name of the song. And what it's like, it just searches that particular text on the net and finds the most relevant song. So this is something which
Yeah.
is, sort of an automation where things are predefined, but there are some where, there is analysis of what things to be implemented on this is something the AIML or say there might be some operations definitely which is the AIML.
Okay. Okay. Jivanshi is asking, what's the best way to ace a data science interview?
Okay, so here we need to see what difference is there in the questions and the type of interview which is as compared to a normal interview. So
Hmm.
in data science interview, there will be questions on DBMS and AIML, that is for sure. But the questions will be situation based, and like I mentioned, that what experience provides is it tells you what algorithm is most suitable as per the situation. So in that particular case, this how do you interpret the given situation? What parameters do you consider? How broad is your vision? So this is something that comes by practice and understanding what the interviewer is expecting you to say is what makes great DS interview.
Okay. Rohit is asking, I want to create a bot which can detect a new post on WordPress blog and send that post in WhatsApp using WhatsApp bot.
Okay, so it's like uh, it is more of an automation than AIML. So
Hmm.
we can detect new post on WordPress blog. So what you can do is either you have the access of that WordPress blog site, so you have the database, so you need not detect it. If you don't have it, you can go for web scraping and all. These are
Hmm.
some strategies, but just make sure that you are allowed to do that. And then you have a WhatsApp API. That's it. Just put the data in, and that's it. The job's done.
Yeah. Okay, so if anyone has any question, you can drop it in the chat.
Okay, so till some more questions come, I can share one more thing that uh, there's a terminology that came and it's creative AI. So, it's like making paintings by artificial intelligence. So,
Mhm.
normally, what is AIML? Normally, if you see it's something like predicting the future, like some regression algorithms. But okay, so then there are some like you need to classify things, dog versus cat. This is the very first project that normally people do. But
Hmm.
you know, bringing an intelligence so that it can think by itself without having some background knowledge is something that is interesting and which is nothing but creative AI. Even one of the projects that I had seen recently was Colorinator. So many of us might have seen black and white movies earlier, or we might have some black and
Yeah.
white photos of our parents or grandparents. Imagine if you can add color to this. So there was a project by a guy, and it was so much accurate that to any black and white photo it added colors. So any of
Hmm.
your black and white movie will go colored just by that application. So this is something, like I might not have, even I had not imagined that this is possible. It's
Hmm.
something like adding colors to your past.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So any other question? Because we took a lot of time from Vedant. It's been 52 minutes now. Okay, so I would love to look at your website because I think it's really cool. And I can't make a website like that ever.
No, actually you definitely can. It's not that amazing.
I don't know
Uh,
why web development is really tough for me. I can't make that. Okay, so Deepak has a
no, okay,
question.
so yeah, perfect.
Okay, machine learning, AI, and deep learning, these are different. How do we define the data science?
Okay.
Does it include all?
Yeah. So it's like, data science is where you have lots of data. So in data, the concepts of database management also come. The concepts of big data come as well. Apart from AI, and in AI, as I guess you already know that AI, deep learning is a small part of machine learning, and machine learning is a small part of AI. Yeah.
He's the web crasher.
Thanks, Abdul.
You?
Something. Yeah, I guess that's what you want to say, I guess.
Okay. Any other question?
I
Um,
just, like if you had a question on something more of a life lesson, there's a small observation that I guess you might or you can do is that as Seema did like my website a lot, isn't it? So
yeah.
what was that? It was, yeah, it looks amazing and all, but if you see that, like there are I guess 200 or 300 plus commits on that website. So this is an example that in order to achieve something really awesome, you need to be consistent in doing it, and then only
Yeah.
magic happens.
Yeah.
Okay. So
What you prefer for a fresher data science and ML or data structures and algorithm CP?
Yeah, so if you have significant time in hand, you can definitely put your time in doing projects. So if you choose AIML as the domain, so that is
Hmm.
possible, definitely yes. But if you don't have much time in your hand, and because every company does demand data structure algorithms and CP, so I guess
Hmm.
if you have at least a month in hand, finish up the CP part if the placements are quite near, and then focus on AIML. Or if you say have a lot of time in your hand, ample time, just get into AIML, and just some months before your placement, get into CP. That small span is enough to crack the initial rounds of your placements.
Yeah. Can you share some of your practical work here?
Yeah, sure. So there was one of my projects which was pretty much appreciated by a lot many people, even like many tech communities like Odin Blogs and Tesseract and all. So and it even came into newspaper. So
Okay.
let me just find it on my GitHub. Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
open
sure.
source, so you all can go give it a try.
Let me drop it in the comments.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Devanshi. Jivanshi, sorry. Okay, so you can check this link. I would love to see that first.
Yeah,
Okay, so it seems interesting.
yeah. So it is like it was the lockdown period when I created this project. So we all know that COVID is a big problem that we had, and
Yeah.
working on something which can help the society is what I suggest should always be the motive. So this is something
Hmm.
where you can determine whether a person is COVID positive or not just by the chest X-ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was a project, and, and it has pretty good accuracy. It was okay. So when you say AIML, do you always need programming, like that hard level programming that you see lot many layers and all? No, there are some concepts like residual learning and all, transferred learning specifically, where you need not do much of this hard work. Like there are already some models. Like for this project I had used ResNet, which is a residual network. So you need to just do some minimal changes and your job's done. So this is something like that. Just check out the term transfer learning and residual learning and all.
Hmm. Okay, so Apurva is asking, I have been working on web scraping from some time now, and I have some projects in my mind for which I need to learn how to deal with that data and train for my purpose. What topic should I start learning?
Yeah, like even I have worked with you on some amazing projects before, Apurv, and yeah, by web scraping you'll get lots of data. The amount won't
Hmm.
be small. So you'll have to understand that which parameters are important and must be taken into consideration. Pre-processing is a thing that is a big problem and needs to be tackled. And training. So, normally, if you just go for simple algorithms that are already available there isn't much of tuning and all. But if you go for deep learning, you'll have to understand that in what situation, by what parameter, what impact does it bring. So, understanding these hyperparameters it is what you should learn.
Okay. Uh, is data science means doing predictive analysis like price of car, price of house?
Price of car and price of house is a part of. or say in short, predictive analysis is a part of data science, but data science is very vast.
Hmm.
uh, it's not only just predicting the future, it's about understanding the present as well. Even understanding the present, as in take a simple dog versus cat classifier. You are not predicting something, but you are classifying things as this is a dog and this is a cat. And making something by itself, putting intelligence artificially in order to just do something is AI, which not necessarily be predicting. Yes.
Okay. Which database is good to use in case of data science?
Database as in, okay, so backend. Not there
Data.
isn't. Yeah, so like if you are asking something like MongoDB, and also MongoDB is what I prefer because it is, the merge stack is quite famous these days, and
Yeah.
it has a good compatibility with other stacks. So I go for MongoDB by myself. There isn't something like close relation for data science.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to share with us?
Mm, it's like if there is some big problem definition that you think, and if you think, yeah, this is something that a team of developers would do, and I'm just an individual, or say around some 3 4 people who are working on some hackathon. If you just
Hmm.
think that you won't be able to do it, then you are wrong, because it is possible to do all these things in by yourself. You just need to be consistent. For example, like I had worked with one of my faculties and we artificially generated music. And believe me, that music was amazing. Apart from
Okay.
this, yeah, let me just think for a minute. I'll just think if I get something
Yeah,
wrong.
sure.
No, I'm not getting anything. It's, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, I guess many of the doubts were cleared, and yeah, this was very interactive session for me as well because I don't know, I have no experience in ML, but I have lots of question in that, so it helped me a lot. And thank you very much, Vedant, for coming here, and it was a wonderful session. For I guess all of the audience really enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Seema, for your invitation, and thank you, people, for bearing me for an hour. So I hope you all enjoyed. And if you have any questions, you can directly contact me on LinkedIn. Or
Yeah,
yeah,
all the
yeah,
social handles are in the top comment, I guess, pinned comment,
yeah,
and
yeah,
in the description box as well. Apurv is saying thank you, Seema and Vedant, for this wonderful session. I must say everyone here is pumped up for being more consistent with the work and start with ML. Like personally, I feel like I should start working in ML. That's weird for me,
yeah.
but
Okay,
it's
so
really interesting.
I got one thing which we had tried, though we weren't that successful, but it was amazing. Uh, you know, uh, what we took is we took a lot many C programs and tried to make a model out of it, and
Hmm.
it was able to write some program by itself. At least the header statements and some of the
Okay.
syntaxes were right. So if this was some small data set that we used, if we
Hmm.
increase the data set and make a more efficient algorithm or a neural network, then something that might replace the developers is also possible. Just
Yeah.
stay there. Yeah.
Jyoti is asking, I want data regarding plants and their geographical conditions for my ML project. I'm unable to find the data set. How can I generate that data with scraping? Would recommend some web pages.
Okay, so you have to generate some data by scraping. Okay, so there are some tools that are available on GitHub. So I guess one of the amazing people was Bhavishya Pandit. He had created a tool by which you can just need to put some information that you want and the data set is generated. So there are some applications which will help you in this. And
Okay.
if in case that Kaggle and aren't having that information, so even Apurva is one of the best scrappers. I'm not much into web scrapping, but these are the people you can contact and they'll be really helpful to you.
Yeah. I guess I will share their profile too in the chat.
Yeah,
Maybe after the session in the pinned comments so that everyone can
definitely.
contact
Yeah,
them. Yeah. So I guess that's it. Thank you again, Vedant. Okay. You can.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
thanks.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye, guys.